Go ahead. Get it
Do
over.
we start? Why do I have my character for werewolf weapon? First of all,
I don't know.
secondly, as yeah, right. Do we get any lures like the werewolves do off the start, or will we have to purchase them
Yes.
right off the bat? We did. Okay, I did not record that at all on my
You get
character.
one kindred lore, one in kindred lore, and then you get four in other lores. Um,
Oh
but it
Lord.
has to make sense for your character.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. Uh,
I'll let you
Probably
figure it out.
two in
Yeah.
Kindred or less rest in Toreador,
Okay, that's fine.
just to make it easy.
All right. All right. We actually started a minute ago, but you know,
Okay,
questions needed to be
sorry
answered.
about
So
that.
not, you're fine. But I'd rather those questions get answered.
All
Um,
right.
welcome to Minneapolis by Night. This is the vampire venue for those who haven't figured it out yet. Um, this is the Primogen meeting. It is taking place at the Dragon Tavern, which has been closed the entire night for this event. Um, it is highly secured. It also is, for those who haven't been paying attention to the forum, an official Elysium. Yes, Joey, what's your question?
Not for you, Bill. Ignore the side chat.
Ah, okay, gotcha. I just saw a question, so. Um, it is set up a little differently than those who were in the scene earlier, as it is set up. This is not a round table. This is actually more of just like a, um, more of like a half square or a half rectangle. All the Primogen are on the sides. At the head of the table, so to speak, is merely Crow himself, and he's still raised slightly above everyone else. He's sitting there. Everybody's in attendance. Everybody has their own little place to sit. Um, it is set up for those who have the knowledge. Specifically, the Pillar clans first, and then all the others come in afterwards. Everybody was checked, so nobody has weapons, and it is an Elysium. There are plenty of guards here, so I don't recommend getting out of line.
Alms
Make
is
it,
standing because he doesn't have a seat yet.
to make it quite simple. There is a spot, however, available. FYI.
Mm.
The prince looks at everybody. We'll call this fucking meeting to order just to get it over with. For those who haven't figured it out, this is going to be the Primogen meeting. I know there is someone who needs to be introduced and would probably prefer to be introduced to their Primogen first. Uh, Victoria, I'll allow you to speak with your clanmate before returning, and I will hold off on the actual meeting until that has taken place. Um, to go by official standards. He looks at you two and kind of motions off to the side so that way you two can briefly talk.
Okay.
She'll bow her head to the prince.
AKA everybody else should be on mute but those two.
So Victoria will get up, motion her over to the one we're supposed to talk to, and just stand there and wait. She gets there.
Okay. Theodora will walk over, um, mustering as much poise and grace, yet showing that she's in deference to everybody here, because this clearly isn't her territory. She curtsies, kind of out of fashion, but she does anyway. She says, "My name is Theodora Masters. I'm in here from London. My sire is Sir Nigel Wentworth the Fourth."
Joey, for you, that would be a kindred lore, more specifically Camarilla if you have it, but it is a kindred lore. Just to give Joey a chance to know who the hell that is.
Okay, I'm just going to do my lord for the same as
Do what? He went all roboto on us.
to tutorial. Just make it simple. I didn't take lores.
Okay, yeah, Tori lore would also be very helpful. but more specifically, just for those who don't know, in the description is a list of the prerequisites for a character sheet. But, anyways, lore should automatically be one of the first things people know. What do you get for your role? Because I need to know. Okay, never mind. Joey apparently got kicked off there for a minute. You back with us, Joey? Maybe. Possibly. Joey. Yeah, this is why sometimes Google sucks. Being kicked and turned. Well, we kind of are on hold until Joey has joined us again.
It says you can hear me.
There we go. Okay. Now we can hear you.
And now we're down Daryl.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay, Google is making its rounds of kicking people out, so this could get interesting tonight. Well, if you're speaking...
Joey?
Yeah, I cannot roll dice, just FYI.
Okay, what do you need for dice roll then?
Just 4 dice.
Okay. You got nothing. Name doesn't tell a mayor, do you? That sucks. Alright. Okay. You can continue, Daryl. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Daryl?
And I returned.
There we go.
He's back? Yes?
Yes, he is back.
Ah, there he is. Where do we need to start over from?
You basically gave your sire's name, and it seemed like a bit story. I had no idea who that was.
Okay. I figured his sires would kick them. The name was so powerful.
Well,
Okay.
unfortunately, that was a failed roll. So.
Anyway, Theodora does give a pause after saying her sire's name as if expecting something. Kind of gives a look, but continues. I've come to the city to set up shop. Just looking for new talent in the human world, new stars. I'm sure you understand, looking for new arts, new avenues, new interest. I just don't want to step on anyone else's toes, just a formality.
Victoria just inclines her head. If you mess up, we'll stake you. Other than that, I welcome you to the city. Hope the prince does the same. And then Victoria just kind of nods at her and goes back to her seat.
Okay. Theodora didn't seem too fazed by the mess up we'll stake you this thing, and she does give a little bit of a smirk. I suppose I return back, but stay sort of back away from everybody.
Okay. Basically, if you just want to sit and listen, you can. I'd say mute yourself in case you.
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. All right. Crow looks over. All right, now that everything's done, I believe Mr. Smith has something he'd like to announce first.
Yes, I have a short agenda that should be very quickly gone through. To start with, I'm not going to bother beating around the bush. Frankly, the gargoyles have done far more to try and aid this city than a number of our somewhat permanent residents have. They're meetings with the previous seneschal had promised them that they would be allowed a vote to be given a seat upon the Primogen Council. And after working with them myself, I do believe that this has been an earned right. Now, if this vote is passed by all of the Primogen in attendance, the Gargoyles will elect their own Primogen, and just to assuage any additional concerns, they had already been offered full rights as kindred of the Camarilla before this. This is simply now giving them a voice within the decision-making process of the city. So, I will call for all in favor and then all against. And just as another thing, pretty much I'm rolling leadership for him, just trying to be getting the idea out there that, hey, this is a thing that you should be fucking paying attention to.
Okay.
And so there we go. It's freaking out. So he gets 3 successes off of that leadership roll.
Okay.
Trying to, convince people that this is a good thing to probably try and vote for, because you don't want to piss off the giant, strong, flying dudes. So, all in favor of allowing the Gargoyles a position within the Primogen Council? Say aye. Or raise a hand.
We'll do
Aye.
that hand raising or eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
All the NPC Primogen raise their hand.
Yep, so David raises a hand. Alex is going to raise his own as well. Victoria already said an aye, so that sounds like it pretty much ends up coming across as unanimous. At that point, Alexander's just going to pretty much nod acknowledgement, say thank you all. Oms, as the only gargoyle present and the only one who has so far been putting himself out, I would like to ask that you take the seat in the meantime until the gargoyles can put together a proper vote for who will be the Primogen.
Of course. He walks around the table and takes the seat.
Alright. Now, that stated, Mr. Ransdale is no longer a part of this city. Subsequently, the Tremere will have to, of course, again elect their own regent and Primogen for their own purposes, but this does put the city at another deficit.
They already have elected a Primogen, Crow.
Well, that's good news. The other deficit that I'm speaking of is we now no longer have a Scourge. So,
Yes, indeed.
I wanted to ask if first there are any nominations that anyone would like to put forward. Now, as an out-of-character thing, Bill, isn't the Scourge normally just appointed by the Prince, or is that also elected by the Primogen Council?
It's normally appointed by the Prince, but
okay.
So far, Crow has said nothing. He's just watching.
Mm-hmm. So, does anyone have any particular nominations for suggesting towards the office?
The NPCs aren't going to say anything. This is going to be a purely PC event.
Yeah, pretty much. And Nathaniel really doesn't have any particular ideas for anyone in particular, because, yeah.
About everyone I can think of already has their own duties that they need to worry about besides kicking off Al-Qaeda for whatever it is Scourge does. Ain't got a whole lot of people right now, so.
Fair enough.
Perhaps the new gargoyle sitting out here could make a good Scourge.
He looks honestly very surprised at the recommendation.
Alms, do you believe that you would have the capacity and ability to perform the duties of the office?
Both offices, Crow speaks up.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Assuming he is elected as Primogen.
No offense to our good friend Ulf here, but ain't the Scourge supposed to go around unnoticed? Pretty sure most people will notice a big giant rock man flying through the sky coming down to beat the shit out of them.
Move it to the game room.
Well, of course it is on to the prince. I will say that I am strong, but honestly, the title of Scourge is something I gave no consideration to.
It would require a more stealthy approach. Do you have a
Stealthy I
way
can
to
do.
make yourself stealthy?
I do indeed. I have several disciplines, and I've lived my entire mortal life trying my best to be unnoticed. It supplied a certain level of skill in the subject.
Well, then I suppose the only other thing to be stated on the matter is, if you believe that you're capable of holding both offices, do you accept the nomination?
I would accept the wisdom of this council if they believe me suitable.
Alexander's going to nod and say, then I believe we should leave it at that for now. Alright. As far as... Unless there are any objections to moving on to the next topic.
Everybody should trade.
Any PCs have any objections to moving on?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just go with it then. Alright. The next matter is one that is... What the hell?
Sandwiches.
And mute. It's not working.
Yeah, it takes a minute sometimes.
Okay. Anyway, so the next topic is one that very much needs to be discussed. And actually, I apologize. That is I am mispresenting my case here. I've already spoken with a number of the Primogen earlier tonight. Communication in this city was the cause of us nearly losing this city in very recent memory. Subsequently, there must be steps taken to correct this. Especially considering that despite the supposed death of the Sabbat presence in the city, the fact is the city is still under attack. The Sabbat were working in conjunction with others, and to any knowledge that we have, those others could still be operating fully. We don't even know if the Sabbat were fully taken care of. So, moving forward, I suggest, with the Prince's blessing, if he so chooses to offer it, that there be a weekly Primogen meeting, so that every Primogen can stay in touch with one another on the status of the city as a whole. And if the Primogen themselves cannot attend, it is within a whip's responsibility and power to stand in for them in an official capacity. Are there any objections to this?
I have no objections.
That seems like a pretty good idea to me.
Crow looks at everybody. Well, I'm not making it a suggestion. I'm making it an order. There will be a Primogen meeting every week. If you do not attend and do not have a whip attend, we will assume that you have since given up your position and it will be treated as such. There will be no more miscommunication within this city. If I find you are lacking in doing your job, I will replace you.
And that settles that.
Thank you, sir.
I am well aware of the poor communication that has been going on in this city, and I am done with it. Every other prince you may have been able to walk over, but I am warning you now, I am not one that you can. Things get done, or you get replaced. It's that simple. If you have an objection to that, I recommend you leave the city. He looks around, as I figured. Please, proceed.
Alright. Within
Alex, actually, hold on.
Yes.
And to facilitate commentation, you can always get a hold of me, and I will have my gargoyles work as messengers. Or the gargoyles, not my gargoyles. Sorry. Rewind.
Mike stands in. And my Nosferatu are at the standby if you need ways to communicate easier. There should be no reason that there shouldn't be full communication between the clans.
Thank you.
Alex, please continue.
Well, actually, that is appropriate that you both brought this up, because it segues quite well into my next point. With full respect to the Prince, this next point is also not a matter that is up for debate. This topic is something that is simply going to happen. Within the next 48 hours, I will be working very closely with both the Gargoyles and the Nosferatu to make sure that communication is sent out both to the mages and the shifters of this city, offering a service of assistance as a matter of good faith. As the Nosferatu have also offered the use of ShrekNet to ensure security, this is going to allow us a greater degree of trust between the other two factions and ourselves by allowing a neutral meeting place and a sense of anonymity between the groups. This discussion will be held in an online chat room through ShrekNet. Dragon Kings has extended its offer of capable computers to anyone who's willing to pretty much offer that they have a job. I've spoken with David Fields directly, and he will offer... he's extending this offer to those factions in particular. And here's the reason why. As I stated, this city is under a coordinated attack by multiple factions that are working together. Just as communication between ourselves has been a problem, the city as a whole has made no concerted defensive effort. It doesn't take much to assume that the werewolves, with their particular talents and perspectives, or the mages themselves, they probably have information that could benefit us, and I am quite certain that between all of us, we have some information that would benefit them. And if we're going to try and get this issue cleaned up cleanly and as quickly as possible, frankly, we will need help. We are a very low population city of kindred. We cannot be in as many places as we need to. So, excuse me, just me looking through my notes. So this asset, once the lines of communication have been opened, we can only guarantee its security for a few days, functionally. So, for those few days, everyone will be using this to try and make sure that any information that needs to be presented gets actually presented. Do not betray secrets to the Kindred or the Camarilla. That is obviously off the table. But simply tactical information about what the enemy is doing and what we can do to try and help. And we will be requesting the same information from the others. Now, as an out-of-character note, pretty much what we're going to do with that is we're just going to make a Facebook group, separate, just existing for this.
Not group
and...
chat.
Pardon?
Group chat, not exactly a full group. Just a
Yeah,
chat
sorry.
to make it easier.
Yeah, so we'll just be making a group chat, and pretty much what we'll be doing, and I'll post these instructions into the same thing, is it's kind of like, rather than it being a full in-character thing where you're typing out exactly what your character's going to say, pretty much just say, this is the information my character is throwing out there. And then you just list it off. That way we don't have to worry about miscommunication or anything of the sort, and also it's going to make it so that the chat gets less inundated with in-character discussions and pissing contests. So, getting back into character, Mr. Crow, do you have any particular objections to this plan?
I will say one thing. If I find out that information about the camera is being passed to the other two sources, and we're not getting an equal exchange of information, the direct person who passed along the information will be considered a traitor to the Camarilla and treated as such. There will
Understood.
be no if, ands, or buts. If that information is passed and we have not gotten equal information in return, that kindred will then be blood hunted and destroyed upon sight. This is not for negotiation. This is pure fact.
Understood. Does anyone else have any concerns that they wish to voice on this matter?
Scene silence.
Good. On the matter of the CDC attempted lockdown of the city, I have pulled some weight, and I have made sure to point out that them attempting to lock down the entire city is not in their best interest. It is too much ground and too many people for them to try and cover. Not to mention the suburbs of people working in downtown. So, they are at this point strictly monitoring traffic in and out of the city. To that end, please make sure that all the members of your clan are aware of the fact that things are being very much monitored. And there's only so much... I have no idea what you're talking about, Jay. There's only so much that I can do to try and cover up certain paper trails. And frankly, that is everything that I had intended to bring up at this meeting. So, to that end, I am done, and I open up the floor to whoever else has business to bring up.
Crow looks around. Until next week, this is your chance to air anything that needs to be taken care of. That's what these meetings are for. If you leave this meeting now and not have anything resolved, I do not want to hear complaining later, because you were given a full chance to air out anything or bring up anything that you deem important. So think long and hard before you decide to end, before we decide to end this meeting. I'll give you all a few to really think about everything you know, and if there's anything that hasn't been brought up that should be.
David will just kind of shrug and say, if I have a problem with you, I'll let you know in person. I don't see the point in waiting until a meeting or doing, thing now. But I have a problem with you. I'll bring it up to you. You sort it out then. Won't be by fight unless you want to start one. We'll be good. That sound fair to everybody else?
I was having a hard time understanding what you were saying.
So basically, if he has a problem with anybody, he'll bring it to their attention first, rather than wait till the meeting to bring it up. And he says if anybody,
Okay.
if there's any arguments to that, bring it up now. But basically, everybody should be bringing up their issues to the person they have their issues with. If it needs to be mediated, Crow, we can set up a time to have it mediated properly. I will not have infighting amongst the Camarilla. There is enough of that in this city, and it's going to end. We need to provide a united front against all enemies, including our temporary allies. He looks to Alex.
Agreed.
Seconded.
Agreed.
Are there no further issues? Very well. And if that is all, this Primogen meeting will come to a close. All those who made attendance will be noted. All those who did not will be spoken to later. He stands up and just walks out. Basically out of character now. It's just basically like a social scene. So if you guys want to interact
Yeah.
without the prince around.
Mm-hmm. big scary baddie.
He's a lot scarier than most people really.
Yeah. Oh.
At this point, probably one of the first things that Alex is going to do is once he stands up, he's going to check his watch to. That was a lot shorter than I expected. And offer a handshake to Alms.
He takes the handshake.
I believe
Pretty
you're
much a
going to have
unanimous decision was not something that I was expecting.
He's going to speak somewhat quietly. He's be like, the moment that it was put to the floor, how much of a choice did they really have?
Holmes just shrugs.
And then speaking up a little bit more, sounds like you're going to have an interesting evening once you get back to your domain.
Remarkably interesting. He looks a little blown away. He's kind of shocked.
Especially me, considering I came in on half of that, and because right as I was getting things in order in my own personal area, I get word that I've been named regent.
I couldn't hear like half of what he said, so I caught Regent at the end of it.
The hell?
He was named Regent.
You have some very big shoes to fill.
Yep. Apparently, I was named that by if anything by the previous one. If anything happened to him, I was made regent, and Miss Beck was made my whip.
Well, out of respect for Ransdale, if there's anything that I can do to help, feel free to ask. We'll work out a deal.
Will do.
Well,
Okay.
Alex is going to turn to the rest of the group and just state. So, for the sake of making sure that these lines of communication are opened up, what I would ask is that any connection info that needs to be passed on, Mike, would you be willing to handle that since you'll be, since the Nosferatu will be most likely acting as our go-between for getting this endeavor set up?
Yeah, that's fine. As long as they come to me.
Alright, well.
We as a clan, I'm telling you right now, we as a clan are not going to make the effort. We are willing to work with anyone who wants to come to us, but it's, obviously due to our unique situation, it is more required to be, meet in more clandestine areas.
Yes. So anyone that has any connection info, bring it to Mike's attention. If you do not have a computer of any notable security, you need to go and set up a meeting with David Fields.
Oh, I intend to do that quite quickly. I want to figure out about this internet thing that everyone's talking about.
It's handy.
On the internet, no one knows you're a giant rock monster. Like,
No one knows what I am on the internet. Or so I have heard.
Yep, you can be anybody you want to be on the internet.
Just keep in mind that in most instances they can trace back to your computer. That's hopefully the thing that we can avoid by using this TrackNet.
Victoria is standing next to Alms, and she just goes, "Congratulations on your clan's promotion." Or is that even the correct word to use? I don't know. But congratulations are still in order.
Mike goes, I think promotion will come. Although I'm actually surprised Mr. Tremere here hasn't opened up their mouth yet. It just looks to Blake.
Oh,
Oh yes, you came in late.
yeah.
The gargoyles have a seat on the Primogen Council now.
Well,
Through unanimous vote, no less.
okay. Interesting. Well, considering what I've seen, they've had to uh deal with personally. I wouldn't be. I'm not. I'm back. Would back the decision.
Hmm.
Anyway, does anyone have any extra topics to bring up with me in particular? Because if not, I believe I do have a few things that I should take care of.
Do you believe you wanted to speak with me about something, Alex?
Oh yes, you are Mr. Blake. That's correct. I apologize. Uh, David, this is relating to the topic that you brought up whilst we were speaking with other David.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Blake, if you would take a seat, please.
He'll sit.
He's gonna motion back towards the table, and when he does sit down, so from what I understand, you were part of a particular ordeal at a power transfer station, correct?
That's not what I said at all, Smith.
Oh, was it? Crap. Then my notes are off. I apologize. Fuck.
The
Let me
toy
bring
company.
that.
The toy warehouse.
Oh, that's right. No, my bad. Crap. So yeah, correcting that at the Happy Fun Time Toys incident. Where the hell did those notes go? Oh,
Alright. What do you need to know?
So, I need to know exactly what happened there, because there was a lot of information that sat dormant for a month before it came to anyone's attention. I understand that at the time it was not entirely your responsibility to bring it up. I'm simply wanting to make sure that there was nothing missed.
Well, you want me to know anything specific, or just
I want to know
some general
everything that
details?
happened there.
We were informed by a source that the gangrel uh, Jade was at the Happy Fun Time Toys Company. Uh, we went there. We were met with minimal resistance until we got to the room where we went into combat with an entity known as a Primogen.
Alright.
If anybody has Guru lore, they can roll it.
Simply asks, "What's a Fomori?"
Nasty fucker.
Supposedly it is some form of either corrupt. It's well, in the most pertinent information, an enemy of the shifters.
Yeah.
Acceptable.
The we were still in stealth when before we went into combat with the Fomori. I actually revealed its identity by trying to administer the kiss to it, and once its blood touched my tongue, I immediately had to unlatch my mouth and vomit because it tasted like I just recently eaten roadkill. And yes, it is. It's as disgusting as that sounds.
Apparently, David is having himself a hilarious time at this notion.
Yeah, it's funny shit. You should have seen it. Oh my god. Like, but goddamn.
All right.
Right? I was watching all the muting.
So Alex is gonna reach into his suit and pull out a notepad, and he's gonna flip back a few pages, and just to verify my notes, David, you said you had also mentioned something about a gangrel elder being there or some such. Do either of you know the nature of why they were there?
Looked like they were being tested on for some purpose. Found her staked to a table.
All right.
As far as I could tell, gathered, her blood was being messed with in some form or another.
Interesting. Were you able to get the elder out, or was it untenable at the time?
Yeah, we got her out. Wasn't a huge problem, except for we're almost done staking her and killing us all.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you
Bill,
over the TV
for
stuff.
personal. Sorry, just a second. Bill, for personal reference, I'm retconning him saying Regent. I'm going to say he was made aware
Primogen.
late that he was Primogen.
That's fine. Yeah, technically, Regent should not be known by anybody but the Tremere, because as Tiger said, that is a very
Right.
secretive thing. Tremere don't let anybody know that. Like
Okay.
Chantries are not known, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm
That's why
personally
everybody hates the Tremere.
I'm personally retconning that he said Regent, and
That's fine. He just said
he's
Primogen.
going
That's fine.
to say he's Primogen.
Yep, that'll work. Okay, so continue.
All right. So, I'm sorry. You had said what about the trying to get that gangrel elder out?
Oh, we got her out just fine. It wasn't a huge problem, except for Bro almost done staking her, and us nearly dying due to her bloodthirst or whatever.
Yeah.
And also, she was rigged up to explode if anyone fucked with her.
All right. Duly noted. So,
Didn't have much to do with anything. I just like insulting Bro. I'm sorry.
well, I will hold my own counsel on that, I suppose.
You do
All
you,
right.
buddy.
Anyway, with you both here, was there anything else that either of you could have noticed? Because at this point, there, excuse me, I want to make sure that we are operating with as much information as we can. I will take that as no then.
Other than the fact that that she was passed off to her sibling a little bit too quickly before we could test out her blood to find out what all has been done to her, which that was rectified by the sheriff, sheriff at that immediately at that moment. Uh, uh, for the person in question was punished by the sheriff. I've tried to rectify the situation, but I still haven't gotten word back from my source about those tests.
Here's the source.
She prefers her own anonymity for
If it's
her
Marcella
own
Giovanni, then I
peace of
would.
mind and sanity.
I'm sorry, what was that?
He'll just tap his nose on when you say that, like you just hit it on the nose, but he's not saying it out loud.
For now, she has help on the way to make sure that this virus does not get any more virulent than it already has. If you're still asking her to work on this, please allow her the priority of working on the virus instead, as that will lead to final death of any kindred who catches it.
I'm going to let her work. Let her take that as priority because it's also been felt by several of my ghouls if it's the same virus.
Yes.
And just for
Bill?
fun, everybody roll 1d10.
Oh dear. Fuck you.
Bill. Bill,
Remember, nobody is immune to it.
So the roll that I have up right now, Bill, is for the int roll on trying to remember that map that we were talking about earlier today.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And rolling my die 10.
Okay.
Do I even want to know?
Roll a d10.
Bill?
That's all you need to know.
Oh dear.
Really?
James, no.
Oh shit.
Good job.
Okay.
Hi, Blake.
Hey Matt, would you be so kind as to roll me a d10?
I can do that, yes. Josh, you got a 9.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Blake, Alex, and David. Write down on your sheet you're infected.
God damn it.
Damn it.
Hey, Alex.
The good news is it hasn't shown symptoms. It means you have more than 48 hours for them to figure something out. So I will say that.
Oh, Lord.
I will tell you when you start. I will tell you when you start displaying symptoms. But for now,
Yeah.
you're just
In character, we don't know we're infected until we start displaying symptoms, right?
correct. Yeah, he won't.
Or somebody auspex as you.
Or
Huh.
well, it would take a very high auspex, and the only reason why Ransdale saw it is because he was using auspex in addition to other things to locate it.
Oh, goody.
You guys have been around. Sorry, it happens.
Alright, that's added onto the character sheet.
Lovely.
Alright.
It will be added on the character sheet.
All right, you can clear your dice now. And Darren, you're fine. You actually just passed. It was a 5 or under who got hit. Just
Alright, so at this point, Alex is then going to turn back to the deputy and Mike and Alms. Gentlemen, there's one other endeavor that I would like brought up. Does anyone here have a map of the city handy, I don't suppose? Or a laptop?
Alms pulls out a map of the city.
Well, aren't you archaic? He's gonna get it spread out on the table.
It has a bunch of red on it, marking things.
And you're busy. Good.
Incredibly.
So, and just to make sure, Bill, he was able to remember where it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's going to point at a particular spot on the map. So, before I get into what is interesting about this location, who here knows why the Sabbat are less of a immediate concern right now?
Alms sheepishly raises his hand, not trying to say anything.
Oh no, I heard something about some antediluvians or some shit. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes and no. In short, through some quite impressive thaumaturgy, Mr. Ransdale was able to do something to Carmine, where between the two of them, and with the help of the Chosen, they more or less may have elected to deal with it all with no sense of grace or subtlety whatsoever a few nights ago.
The word you're looking for, Alex, is genocide. They committed genocide.
Hopefully.
Mike goes, no, they didn't.
Anyway, one of the things that I learned from that meeting is that this location is supposedly where the Sabbat had been amassing their forces and their resources. What I am going to ask is that some form of official investigation into the site be performed by anyone who can manage to actually do so stealthily, as if there is still an enemy presence there, we cannot afford to lose whoever is looking into it. Also, we cannot afford to tilt our hand and let them know that we are aware of the location. And that's why I wanted to bring it up while there's many here at present as possible. So, Mike, Alms, David, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I can check it out. I don't care about that.
I think
Like,
we should get a small force together to investigate it. I don't think anybody should go alone.
Yeah.
If there are people there, then the more people we have, the sizable enough force that we take there, under stealthy ways to handle it would be preferred, rather than just have one person try and fight unknown numbers by themselves.
I thought I was gonna fight. Fuck that.
Well,
I'm gonna fight with this Sabbat by myself. What do you think I am? Some kind of stupid
do we even
idiot?
know if they are Sabbat? That's the catch. I mean, it could just be someone moved in and took, it could just be someone moved in and took over the territory once it was cleared out, so to speak.
Because,
Remember, they did
again,
have allies. It might be individuals who are allied with them and coming to see what happened to the people they were getting commands or orders from.
Exactly. But we need to try and that's the concern. We need to try and get there before the enemy realizes too much of what is going on, but we also need to do it in such a way that we are not endangering ourselves. Because, like I said earlier, the truth of the matter is, we do not have enough kindred for a city of this size. We cannot afford to lose anyone if we can avoid it.
Might also a side venture be that we should perhaps swell our numbers somewhat?
Yes.
Reach out to allies in other cities, see if we can't get more of our respective clans and bloodlines into the city.
Do we really want to put more clans at risk with this virus running around?
Exactly.
Might
Even
work.
St. Paul, our neighbor city, has said that that no one will leave that city to come to our help until this virus is dealt with, at the minimum. And that's
That
beyond
is
the
true.
presentation of what it looks like to the Inner Council, if we're having to tap other cities for what is an issue that, as far as the Inner Council is concerned, has largely been addressed. Let's be honest, do they care about mages and shifters?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
That is beyond their concerns.
So, unfortunately, I believe that trying to en masse tap outside resources is out of the question.
Indeed. So we are on our own in this. Wonderful. Gotta love the chips are down.
At least until the virus is taken care of.
Speaking of the virus, wouldn't it be prudent to make sure, even though we're not exhibiting symptoms, to get checked out and see if we may be carrying?
I'm sorry, I need you to repeat that because it's hard to understand you.
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
A little bit.
Basically, what he said is, wouldn't it be prudent to make sure everybody is cleared and not carrying the virus?
Yeah, before we try and think about reaching out anyhow, we may get it taken care of in our own people, but it'd probably be a good idea to have us looked at before we go anywhere outside the city. And that goes for anybody.
I'm still not. I apologize. I'm still having a really hard time understanding.
I really hate this mic. Am I good now?
Yeah.
I was suggesting we probably need to have like regular screenings for the city, including us, because we don't know who has it and who doesn't.
Yes. The 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 prior Primogen had set up a had offered such services. That was partly why your clan had, or Mr. Ransdale had been offered a large sum from the venture as well. In fact, there's already been procedures set up and in place so that anybody who comes down with what amounts to cold-like symptoms or the or similar things is to go and get in touch with your clan so that the proper ritual can be performed and it can be pulled from their blood.
All right. Yes, I remember. Yes, he told me about it.
Yes. So, as far as the nature of the virus itself, it can sit in a body for 3 weeks. Once symptoms begin, you have approximately 48 hours before final death. I can make sure that again another dossier is sent to you with information about it. I just need a location. And at this point, Alexander feels like a broken record.
He will give a safe location that's not either of said premier places.
Okay. You're gonna look at the address, pull out his phone, send a text to his ghoul. I need another copy of the dossier. Drop it off here. Sends the message. And looking at Blake, it'll be there in about half an hour.
All right, it's the X address for a PO box.
Your guy's getting pretty slow there. Used to be 15 minutes.
Hey, he's on his lunch break right now.
Understandable.
Anyway.
We'll still have to eat salad food.
You can eat
Anyway.
dry.
Well, is there anything as far as on the notion of trying to swell our numbers? The best suggestion that I could make, if anyone is concerned about doing so, would be requesting the right of progeny from the prince. Beyond that, we can't really do much else at the moment.
Right, and that would probably be also still endangering the people the kindred asking for the right because we don't even know if the kind could actually be carrying it.
They are. How do you think it's spread to us so much? There's a reason why the CDC is here. It is it is an epidemic at this point, but to them it appears only to be some sort of virulent cold. There's only been one human death.
Indeed, but the CDC will always be aware and word looking for cautious about disease mutation, because even though it's only killed one person so far,
If it jumps enough, it will mutate, yes. So to that end, that's why the CDC is here, yes. But it has gone through the human population, and that is why it gets to us. They poisoned the Sabbat and their allies poisoned the well. And now the Anarchs are gone.
Yeah, that's not good.
They wiped out nearly a third of the kindred population of the city with this, if
Yep.
not more.
Gotta get this taken care of to where we can at least try and swell our numbers internally by right of progeny.
Correct. Honestly, I would suggest waiting until after this virus has been dealt with, but if you believe that you have the means and resources of doing so without it being too much of a concern of your child or being subjected to it, then by all means, ask for right of progeny.
Oh, just FYI, the premier way to cure it left when Mr. Rainsdale did.
See, I thought that they had some of the he had taught the ritual to some of the NPCs.
Nope, it was between him and the chosen one who had the ability to do it.
Shit!
Okay.
I will ask him. I will ask him on the side to see if he left at least, the right or whatever on a piece of paper or something for them.
Please,
But for now, we will assume that as of right now, Mr. Rainsdale and the chosen, since they are both gone, were the only ones who had it. But I will ask.
Okay.
Considering I now have access to that office, please.
Alright. Anyway.
Hold on, I need a moment out of character.
Sucks.
Tiger's over there. Calling it now. The answer was no. Anyway.
Probably not. I mean, they were the only two powerful enough to be able to cast this particular spell, so it may very well be you guys don't have it.
That's sucky.
And,
anyway.
Well, I'm not going into
drag their
details.
feet. Anyway,
Just goes to show you.
So, honestly, I do believe that that is the last order of business that I have to bring up in front of everyone. Does anyone have anything that they need me for before I head out?
No.
Not right now. I actually probably need to start scouring my office to make to see if knowledge of that the ritual cleansing was left behind, so we can continue screenings.
All right.
Indeed.
If it was not, then I would honestly suggest that you get in touch with Marcella, and oh crap, what was Rick's character's name again?
Midian.
Yeah, thank you. I would honestly suggest that you get in touch with Marcella and a new kindred to the city named Midian. They are working on the cure, and as this plague must obviously have a magical component, perhaps your input would be helpful.
Because keep in mind,
any way I can.
yes, because keep in mind, the ritual, from my understanding, removed the infection, but it didn't keep you from getting reinfected.
That is
so
correct.
It was only really a temporary stopgap. We need that cure.
Mr. Ransdale specifically had set it up that it only cured them, and then it was assumed that once you were cured, you wouldn't be stupid enough to go back out into public and risk getting reinfected.
Yeah, well, we don't always have that option.
Yeah, hence the catch. I mean, unfortunately, many of us have business we have to attend to. But that is why the best use is through proxies, through ghouls, through, other people.
Yeah, I need to make some of those.
It's the best way to handle affairs.
Anyway, if there's nothing else, I have other business to attend to. Enjoy your evening. And Alex is going to head off to the door and pick up his guns and head out.
Okay, to answer the question, no. Tiger was right.
Yeah!
You called it, Tiger. You called it.
He said no. He had to buy it as a ritual, so you guys are basically going to have to do the same.
Great.
Good luck on that.
Great.
Hey, that's what happens.
They will just look at everyone like,
And
y'all got,
I know what the ritual is too, out of character, and that's just sucks. He
Yep.
didn't leave any how to do it manual.
Nope. Not a how to do it. Nothing. He's gonna make y'all learn it.
Curse you, PJ!
Davis is gonna look at everybody else in the room and say, if y'all need me, just let me know. Y'all have my number, I'm sure. Or you know someone who can get it to you. And he'll just walk
This will
out.
be a good time to exchange the numbers and anything that anybody might need to get a hold of others.
Right. Especially since we're probably going to be working together a lot.
Mike hands out his number to anyone who doesn't have it.
Victoria hands out her number, and then pretty much she's walking around and stalking the place.
Blake is handing out his phone numbers to everyone.
Grabs his knuckles and then just fucking leave.
Oh, this is too funny.
Goody. Well, I gotta go explore my new office.
Good luck.
And pray that I don't have to try and figure out how to call a certain person back from the grave just to figure out how he did it.
By the way, sandwiches. A, you can't call back from the grave. And B, you have no gargoyle presence in the chantry. They only said it because of Mr. Ransdell. You were given the opportunity to make some friends, and you chose not to. So it was taken advantage of.
Now I gotta go and
Make some friends
make
again.
friends.
That's all it takes. Yeah.
Now I have to go make friends. Try and make friends all from scratch, don't I?
Talk to Alms. He's the Primogen for the gargoyles.
As soon as that blue book gets approved, which I'm working on, yes, maybe. Who knows?
Guess what, Bill? I'm assuming Alms was there.
Yes.
He's gonna go and go find Alms before he heads out. Which one was Alms? Sorry.
Alms is this guy. Hi.
Sure.
Hi.
I'm currently the second most ugly guy out of character. I think I'm gonna really like Mike.
Oh god. Right. Alms, was it?
Yes, that is my name.
I wanted to talk to you about trying to reaffirm our two clans' relationship. I do apologize for the now disconnect. I know your clan and Mr. Ransdale had a working business arrangement. I just wanted to establish that.
Well, here's the hard part as I see it. Because my understanding of the business arrangement we had with Ransdale was that rather than the arrangement being that of master and slave, he was more working with us politically to, well, see what we had tonight. That was what he promised us.
I'm going to hold to that arrangement, but as now expanding on it as more as allies between our two clans.
I
Not
understand.
master and slave, or just keep up with what was already there and just expand on it.
And I'm grateful for this. Allies are always welcome between clans. After all, we do need to cooperate to ensure this city doesn't fall.
Right.
But that said, I do have to think of the clan in general. Now, thinking on this, the question then becomes, what do you have that can be of use to my clan? The first thought that comes to mind... Hang on. I need to figure out who's banging. Thank you.
The awkward Toreador young thing over there.
It's perfectly fine. The thought that comes to my mind is we do end up in public quite a bit doing our duties to the Camarilla. If you could perhaps waive the boon of getting treated if you can find the ritual, I believe we could come to some form of an arrangement.
I think I can work with that.
Good, good. Then that would be acceptable. We'll have to speak of this a little further. You do have my contact information, correct?
Yes, I do. Just to make sure he gives you his number. Just to make sure he gave you his number.
Okay, he has it in his cell phone. But yes, I'm more than willing to work with any clan, so long as, you know, there is some benefit to mine.
And I will work on making arrangements to make it worth your while.
But also keep in mind, I've not been named Primogen yet. I'm just here as representative. We will certainly call the vote later tonight and spread the information of what is officially made. People have been talking that I will be made Primogen because I spend the most time among the other vampires. But it can go any way. But I will bring these up with the rest of the clan and see what they decide.
That's quite understandable. Take your time. Actually have to. I'm in the same boat, kind of in the same boat as you are. I now have new powers and resources and influences that I at my disposal that I need to explore due to my recent appointment.
Of course. But yes, to make sure that I understand the deal that we're agreeing on, you need bodyguards for the chantry?
Yes, and I need to talk to you in private later about that because I've
Give me
been recently working.
Give me a rough estimate. How many do you think that you'd need as far as guardians?
Out of character, I'm going to say it like this: he gives you enough for at least 2 locations.
Okay. And Bill, how many gargoyles do I have available?
That would deplete your entire force.
That would?
Mm-hmm. We lost quite a few when Ransdell left, because they went with them.
Yeah.
You're down to 6 total.
He kind of gives a thoughtful expression, rubs his face a little bit.
You might be able to give one apiece, that's it.
I'm afraid I couldn't fully staff 2 locations. I could perhaps drop about 1 each, which would give you someone to patrol grounds, watch you as you sleep. However, I would recommend not being entirely reliant on us. We are also stretched thin with the numbers that Ransdale left the city with.
That's quite alright. I kind of figured as much. One will work for right now due to the circumstances. I'm is still working on the other location as far as that is concerned on my end, anyways.
Indeed.
It's more of a school than a full-fledged working chantry
I
for
see.
right now. I was expecting our numbers to be thin to begin with, and the school is open to your clan as well as clan Tremaine.
That's good to hear. Anyway,
I'll leave you to it then. Like I said, I have an entire office and library now to explore.
and I have an issue of leadership to vote on.
If you need any influence from an ally clan, give me a ring, and I will give Clan Tremere's a recommendation for you.
Thank you very much for that. But yes, I believe I should take a flight. I bid you all adieu. At that point, he leaves.
And Blake will leave as well to head to the new to his new office, and hopefully somebody with Auspex. Phil, looking at you, Phil.
Hey.
If you're looking for PCs, there's only two PCs now that have Auspex.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the people that have Auspex are NPCs.
Yeah.
And
So
if you
find
want
someone to
that,
teach me
you're gonna.
Auspex.
But you wouldn't know that it can be seen through Auspex. That's the catch.
If you want Auspex,
Because when
there are
Mr.
people to talk to.
Ransdale did it, he didn't tell anybody what he was doing. He just
Yeah,
said he
he's
didn't
more.
see it.
Yeah, it's more right now to learn more on Auspex, because in the blue book scene I left you in my blue booking. She only gave the basics of it.
Here's the catch. What was used was a combination of Auspex and Thaumaturgy.
Right.
It wasn't basic Auspex by itself, because Mr. Ransdale knew exactly what to look for. So,
I'm guessing. I need need that and the ritual.
Yep. Which
Lovely.
can be,
So, Phil, guess what blue booking you're going to get.
Oh, by the way, you as a Tremere would find out that you have a new era council member. His name is Mr. Ransdale.
What? What?
Mr. Ransdale has become the Tremere head for the era council.
Oh my god!
He didn't die.
And
He just moved up.
He got a little bit of a promotion, sir.
Okay.
That's why we keep saying that he left the city.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Blake gets to explore his new office and probably making a very heated phone call. But yeah, but he doesn't know about the promotion yet. He just knows he got a promotion. Okay. Things with typing and out of character information being thrown, Bill, you might want to cut the feed.
Oh, yeah, might have. Alright, well, since everybody's done now, thank you players for playing, thank you watchers for watching, hope you enjoyed, stay tuned for more.